Still wrapping up something.
Okay. Thank you. I'd like to call to order the Groveland Township Regular Board Meeting for November the 14th, 2022. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Hey, Janelle, would you please take roll call?
Up to. Palma,
Here.
Jack,
Here.
Bill, here, Christopher,
Here.
Mazzarelli.
Here.
Okay, has everybody received a copy of today's agenda? And if so, are there any questions or comments? If not, a motion to approve would be in order.
I'll motion, we approve the agenda as submitted.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions or comments from the board? Any from the audience? If not, all in favor, say aye. All opposed? It's approved. Next is the approval of the minutes from the October 11th meeting for both the township and the fire board meeting. Has everybody had a chance to read those? And if so, are there any comments or corrections anybody wants to make on it? They looked okay to me.
Yeah, nice job, Janelle, on the summaries of the presentations and the,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Well, it was an
Very good.
interesting meeting, so yeah, you did a great job on the.
Cut out the
summaries.
grist of the useless stuff, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. If not, a motion to approve would be in order for both fire board and township.
So I will make a motion to approve the Groveland Township regular meeting minutes from October 11th, 2022, and those of the fire board, October 11th, 2022.
Second to that?
I'll second it.
Any questions or comments from the board?
No.
If not, all in favor, say aye. All opposed? Okay, great. They're covered. They're approved. Next, we move right to the financials. And Patty, are there any budget amendments for this month?
I have no budget amendments
Whoa.
this time. Yep.
It's a miracle. I'm feeling the earth shake.
All looks good.
Okay, and accounts payable?
So the accounts payable,
Yeah, we always.
yeah, this month were $62,139.97 for 101. $120 for 249, and the 701 account, which was paid back to whoever we owed it to, or to pay OHM or our planner.
Uh-huh.
$2,097.50. And I don't have a running total on that.
Four,
Can you add quickly?
2, 3, 64, 3 something. 3.
Give me a minute. 6. You want me to do math?
You can do math on the fly, can't you?
Come on, Teresa, you're the treasurer. Nobody's got that data out.
Oh,
I got it. Kevin's doing it. Thank you, Kevin.
On the phone, thank you. Yeah.
I should have caught that.
64,357.44.
$64,357.47. I had the 47 cents. Okay, and for 206, it was $24,493.97. So my motion is to approve the accounts payable as submitted.
Okay, is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Any questions or comments from the board? Okay, Janelle, would you take a roll call?
Jack,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Mazzarelli,
Yes.
Palma.
Yes. Okay. And next is Teresa, the investment reports.
Is it? Well, the revenue and expense,
Yeah.
which is, or the
Oh,
financial.
I'm
report,
sorry, financial reports. I apologize. Financial.
Which
reports,
is
yep.
the revenue and expenditure. Does anybody have any questions
Sorry.
on those?
Skip down one.
Just scanning over it, it looks like there's, we're gonna have some budget tweaking to do next year. There's some that we definitely have exceeded and some that are way under. You know, looking as where our
Yeah.
percentages stand right now, so.
So is that all?
Gotcha.
Anybody else? I'll motion that we expect, accept the financial reports for general fire and the building fund as submitted.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
By Teresa. Okay, any questions or comments from the board? If not, we're not actually spending the money. These are just reports, so.
Right.
That's
All
right.
all in motion, excuse me, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, okay, we're all happy with them. Now, I apologize, Teresa, now.
There you go.
Now, yeah, you can see the report is submitted. Nothing really out of the ordinary.
No, the numbers all look good to me.
Interest rates are going up, but we'll talk about
About that
that
in a minute.
in item 10C.
Okay, so if there are no questions on that, we'll move from investment reports. There's no presentations tonight. We're on the public hearings on community development block grant, Patty.
Yep, so we need to do the public hearing if you want to open it. This is for the
Okay.
CDBG.
I'll open it at 7:06.
And does anybody, Bob, did you want to talk a bit?
Of course.
We're guessing that's why the audience is full tonight.
Yep.
Bob McCarthy, I'm the chairman of the Groveland Youth Assistance. We are always interested in CDBG funds. We spend quite a bit of money every year on it, especially this last year due to COVID. We had CDBG from all the other municipalities that we couldn't use, obviously, their new programs. So we went crazy this last year with it, but we're always hunting for CDBG funds. And I understand you don't have a lot to be able to share out, but I wanted to be sure that I was on record that I was here. Because I seen it in your agenda that CDBG was on it, and I also seen that there was an opportunity for Brandon Groveland Youth Assistance reports that I thought I might speak in a minute or two on.
Sure.
If I could, because I got, our vice chairman is at Brandon's currently, where it's the same night. I don't know how you municipality need to spread these things out. But she is over there at Brandon. It's the first time for her, so it's exciting for her. It's, if you've been around it much, it is an ordeal to get through all of it. But I appreciate that, and just always remember that we are after funds.
Everybody knows you're a good ambassador
Yes,
for them.
You are very good.
Yeah.
So that was BGYA and Brandon Groveland Youth Assistance and Haven. They had sent a letter. They too are interested in our funds for this year. Of course, for battered and abused. And does anybody else have anything else? Anything else?
No?
I guess we can close.
Okay, we'll close the public hearing now at 7:08. Thank you, Bob, for coming.
Yes.
2 minutes.
Short and sweet.
Two, but if you want, we'll fudge it, say 2.5, okay? Thank you, Bob. Okay, next item would be,
Well,
I'm sorry, it's right, go ahead with your
yeah, we may,
recommendation.
well, we could do the CDBG in the next.
On the new
Yeah.
business.
Well,
Okay.
that's coming up.
Yeah,
next.
well, I was just gonna say, next item is unfinished business. There is none for tonight. So we move to new business, item 10, and the first one is to discuss the community
CDBG.
development block grant.
So, we only get like 7,600 maybe. We have to go by what we got last year, what we received. And last year, we used it for the mobile home parks for improvement. So this year, I'm going to suggest, because it is such a small amount, and to have Haven, to support Haven this year. And then once it comes in, we'll see what we have. We used to get a lot more than that, but it's really
Big cut.
still being cut down because we've lost our moderate or to moderate income quite a bit. So
It can't be split.
Well, you have to have a minimum.
We have to have a
$3,500
yes,
Okay,
per entity that gets. it.
right,
okay.
and it can only go to help, what am I trying to say?
Low to moderate.
Low to moderate income, yes. So people, and we haven't qualified for actually enough in our area.
Last two
We've
census.
Lost it,
Okay.
but, we still get that amount, so.
I would be surprised if we didn't get more because of the fact that
We made
there's a
this
lot
year.
more people living in each of the areas that are designated CDBG.
We made this
eligible.
year.
But
Because
what
we have
did
to
it was
go-
the mobile homes, and if you remember back when the census went through, they still weren't filled. They were
Yeah,
just
but that
trying to
was
fill them.
2010. No.
Yeah, but I don't think that number gets adjusted until the next census.
Even the
2020,
2020
the
census?
2021, they weren't filled. They were still trying to fill them. They were starting to, and we were hopeful we were gonna get it, but I don't think it went up that much. So I don't think we'll
Okay.
get it till the 2030.
So
Okay.
we'll
Then.
see, and at this point in time with the CDBG, they don't really know the funding we're gonna get.
Right.
We could get more than that. And if we do, they may come back and say, well, you're gonna have to, find something else to do with the money besides, give part of it to Haven and do something with the rest depending. So,
Do we ever like find out how they spent the money over, like we gave it to the communities, those, the.
right,
Mobile home communities, but do we ever like get a report, like not
no,
who they helped, but we did this many,
it goes to these mobile homes, because that's
Yes.
what it's written for.
but we don't know like if it
No.
helped fix roofs or what it actually went
Generally,
for.
my understanding is generally, yes. I don't know exactly what it was.
Okay.
But my understanding is yes,
The county actually
somebody
administers
needed a
reports,
roof-
don't they?
yeah,
So they're the ones that make sure. it
Yeah.
Meets the requirement.
Yeah.
And most of that's been like a bad floor or ceiling or furnace or
yeah,
something.
furnace, hot water heater,
Mhm.
maybe a refrigerator, that type of thing.
It would be nice
Refrigerator.
just to hear, like
Feedback.
how many, some feedback on who it helped and how many
The
people it
impact
helped.
that-
Yes, the impact that it had.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I can question that. I've never had them give us anything, but we can check.
Yeah.
So,
You need a motion.
well, the first thing I want to do is motion to approve the program year of 2023. Community Development Block Grant application in the approximate amount of $7,600, with Robert DePalma being the highest elected official. He will sign the conflict of interest certifications and authorize the clerk to execute all documents, agreements, or contracts to submit the application to Oakland County Community and Home Improvement Division. That's my motion.
Okay, is there a second to that?
I'll second that motion.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? If not, just for the record, can we have a roll call on it?
Phillips,
yes,
Christopher,
Yes.
Mazarelli,
Yes.
DePalma,
You gonna bring that to me when you go in for that also?
Yeah, I have till December.
Okay.
Did you call my name?
No, she didn't.
Yeah.
Good.
Can you not see me?
Excuse me. Okay. The next item on the agenda is to discuss the HRA, and Patty, you've done all the background work on that. You want to give us the
What's
the
that?
lowdown?
Oh,
H-
no, we have to still make a motion
Oh,
of
I'm
where we're
sorry.
gonna use the funds.
I apologize.
So-
Oh, we didn't do that. You're right. I apologize. Go ahead, make your motion. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Can I say something?
Mhm.
Since
Yeah.
we do make a
Good point.
donation to BGYA and Holly Youth Assistance as well, outside of these funds. I can see where you might want to put it somewhere different than that.
and those they've been made for the year.
Mhm.
And in 2023 budget, 24, I'm sure. We'll see what that comes of that, but usually, we're pretty good with
Mhm.
making that. So does somebody want a motion? I'll make
Why don't
it.
you make it?
Okay.
you would- yeah.
I'll motion to approve the CDBG funds for 2023 to go to Haven in the amount of approximately $7,600 to be used for public service domestic violence.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
By Jim, is there any questions or comments from the board? Okay, Danielle, or excuse me, Janelle, if you would make her, as long as I don't say Katerina, right?
She'd love it.
Yes.
Ms. Riley,
Yes.
Mr. Palmer,
Yes,
Back,
Yes.
Bills.
Yes.
okay, no, I jumped the gun, Patty, no.
Okay,
HRA
the
discussion.
HRA.
Item B.
So Teresa and I have done some looking into some of this HRA switching, changing to a different distribution, what do you call it? Different service to handle it. There's been some
Because of the continual problems
problems.
with the one we have.
with basic. They are difficult to get your money back. They are difficult to submit. If people, I have employees that are submitting things, we have employees that are submitting things that are getting it back saying denied, denied, denied. Some of them have submitted the same thing before and have been
And the next time it doesn't
Rejected.
work. Yeah.
the next time it doesn't work. So I talked with Burnham and Flowers, a Jack Schmaltz, I forget how to say his name, but anyway, I talked with him and this iSolved was recommended by Oxford Township. They had basic. What really I think happened, it doesn't matter because it's turned out still not so very good. Basic merged with another company that was doing these HRAs, healthcare savings, things like that. And they're still having difficulty. Since they merged, it has been a problem. So Oxford Township, they had basic also. And he didn't hang on as long as we have here. We were kind of rode out the storm with the merger and everything, but it was still hoping it would get better, and then it did a little bit, but then it went back downhill. So they went to a company called iSolve, and they've been very happy. They've had no problems with it, anything major. He said he hasn't had complaints from the employees and that, so I think we've had a girl, we did a Zoom where they walked us through the program. It's pretty much the same as basic. They handle the payouts and all of that. It's also cheaper than basic. And I'm looking to see if we had a sheet on that. Yes. It's $4.25 per month per participant.
$4.
$4.25, sorry, thank you, Bob. And $50 setup fee. Now, going back to Burnham and Flowers, they were $17 a person. So I think, I don't want to say give it a try, but I think going with iSolved.
Oh, you had good reference from people using them.
We did
That's-
have very
that's
good
worth
reference
something, I
from
think.
people using them, yes. And the thing is, we need to decide what we want to do. Because I've already received the re-enrollment for basic. So we want to know what we're doing. We want to get in the new one before January and out of the old.
What wasn't I'm asking, I thought the goal was to get the new one in place for January 1 and stop using the old one after December.
Right. That was what we talked about.
Okay.
Teresa, do you have anything?
No, not really. I mean, you just pretty much summarized it, right? I mean, Gina and Jim might want to, if you have any opinions.
My opinion as a provider with basic was miserable. I mean, what they would put, the hoops that they wanted me to jump through, that I didn't have any type of information release from a patient to be able to give them that information. So no, I have not been happy with them.
So I guess my only question, and Patty and I brought this up when we talked to the people at iSolved, but when terminating basic and moving on to iSolved, how much time do we give it? Because the benefits, et cetera, like people pay a bill, maybe let's just say last December 31st, you pay a bill at the doctor's office, or you go to the doctor's office, and then it takes 2 months to get the bill from insurance and all that other stuff. So the only real question is how long to keep it open before,
Right.
saying, okay, you've got this long to submit anything. But I mean, for current employees who are going to continue on with a new one, you can just submit to the new program. So
I don't know how that would work. I was thinking, as you and I had talked about that, I don't know if they would give us a grace on that. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
To like say,
they're not really facilitating. All they're doing is waiting for.
yeah, any bills that are coming in,
I'll bet you they
To-
charge us by the same rate.
yeah, they probably will.
So
we
that
will
that begs
have
the
to
question we need the answer. I mean, I don't know if we
find
have
it
to
out.
have that for today. I'm guessing today we can decide to put the
New one in place.
January 1 and the old one to stop using it after December, but you have to validate from basic whether or not we have a time frame and whether or not they're going to charge us the full monthly rate, because that'll determine, I think, on how we close it out.
Correct.
Does
And
that
what
seem
would Basic's
reasonable?
timeframe be to refund the funds that
The
are in there?
Funds, they're already,
We already have,
You already have them. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
so,
that's right. They're actually in our.
they're in our account. So
and this is a two-part, and maybe not to make a decision on this right now, but food for thought. So the benefit is the employees to use until it runs out, whether they're with us or they're not with us. So taking a better look at this, down the road, we could end up with a whole bunch of people hanging on to this and not using it. We have some people right now that haven't used it or at all
And that's an
And-
administrative problem and a nightmare for your office.
for down the road, yeah. Because what happens is like I have one, two, I think, is there two, Teresa, or three? That we have on there right now that haven't used their funds, but they're not with us anymore. Two. So right now it's two, but say, Teresa retires, she's gonna be on there. Danielle decides to leave, now we've got 4 people that aren't here anymore.
heaven forbid.
That will be the least of our problems.
I know, but yeah, the question is to solve that some way. So we can, at the end of when someone leaves, we can, a thought was, we can pay them out whatever in there. It would be, they pay the taxes, we pay the taxes.
And it would not be pension affecting.
It
It's
would not be
negotiated.
pension affecting, no, it would simply, okay,
Close it out.
you're leaving, we'll close it out, this is yours. And it'll be on a separate payroll, that type of thing. And that way, we've kept our promise to them that it was their money to use until the end, they spent it down. But I can tell you, spending it down, especially if you're kind of younger,
Takes a long
back
time.
when we had it before, I was in that situation, but I'm like, I was healthy. And to spend it down wasn't all that easy to do,
Yeah. But the problem is it makes an administrative job
Yes.
for you going on
Yes.
out indefinitely. And there's got to be some cost associated for the township just to have it sit there. And
Correct.
as we found out already with a couple of people that haven't closed it out and really should have,
Mhm.
we need to find a day that we, after you talk to Basic, we say, this is the last day you got to use it. Either
Right,
use it or cash it out so that we don't incur the cost to handle it after that.
right.
And
And
you don't
then-
have to do it after.
Right, and start the new one. So,
Start the new one only if you are currently employed.
Correct.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's only, yeah. it's
Yeah.
only
You're not
for
gonna
people
carry
who are-
over.
No.
Okay,
right.
okay.
Good point. I'm glad you mentioned
There
that.
we
You're
go.
right.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
We
So,
don't want to get rid of one albatross, but another one.
Well, and again, the new company is a substantial savings in.
That's what I
the
was-
Monthly
Fees.
maintenance fees, right? And so that's really that. other than ease of use, it's a money saver to the township. But of course, the intention of the HRA was to provide health coverage, an option for people to purchase health coverage who needed to do so while they were employed with the township. So, when a person leaves employment, then that opens up a different situation where they're no longer employed, but they still have these funds and they have accrued them, so they should be theirs, but going further out, there's a monthly maintenance fee.
Yeah.
That, the township shouldn't have these legacy costs for, people who are no longer employed.
For years down the road.
Right, and then, that includes all of us who are future, like, one day won't be employed, right?
Mhm.
So,
So right now, we're paying $102 for fire monthly, or $102.40 for fire and $102
I thought you said it
$102.
was $400 a month.
No, it's 204.
Okay.
204. It's 140. So I think it's 102. 101. What am I
It's
waiting?
about $2,400 a year.
I can't think. I've
Right
been,
now, it's about $2,400 a year.
yes,
And the new one's gonna be $1,300 a year.
yes, it's a significant drop savings. So,
Well, for today, you just want the motion to agree to start the new company January 1 and close out the old company as of December 31st. And then we'll determine after you talk to them what we do
what we
on
want
the
to do
closeout
done,
period.
yes.
Okay,
How long is Oxford had them?
Well, they had them when the changeover was
Oh,
going
so it's
on.
already over.
So they had,
Okay.
they got out of basic right when that changeover mess started, and I just kept trying to get a hold of
Right.
people for everybody.
Right, so it's been years.
So it's been a good year
Yeah,
too.
it's been- yeah. Okay.
So. Okay, is anybody, I don't have a motion put together, but does anybody want to make the motion?
do you want to do it, sir? Do you want me to do it?
Yes, go ahead, Bob.
I make a motion that we start using iSolve for our HRA as of January 1, 2023. And that we stop using basic as of December 31st, 2022. And we'll determine the rollout period to use any remaining funds and how that will be handled after a discussion from Patty with the iBasic. And if you want, I'll sit in on that.
Okay,
Okay, is there a second to the
I'll second
motion?
that.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, Janelle, would you take a roll call on it?
Ms. Riley,
Yes.
Dick Palma,
Yes.
Jack,
yes,
Bill,
Yes,
Christopher.
Yes.
Okay. Next item is discuss additional depositories, and this one I believe is yours, Lisa, that we talked about.
okay, so, yeah, I'm just, I didn't really have much. Okay, so right now the interest rates are significantly increasing because they were next to nothing and now they're up to about 3 or 4%. So we have several depositories that just are not offering as much as what GovMitch and Michigan Class also are offering. Huntington Bank was another one that was at the time I added them because they were offering 3.7% for CDs. And I've since received rates back from Chase Bank, which we already have Chase Bank, and they have said as of today, finally, and because I told them we have a board meeting and I'd like to be able to report the rates, for 12 months, it's 4%. So GovMish, I just put in the packet just for you guys for the reference. And you can see, like, let's go to their 365 days, 4.86%. These are, of course, gonna keep in mind, safety, liquidity, and yield, right? Those are the top three of our investment policies: safety, liquidity, and yield. And these are all, investment pools that are highly rated. They weren't giving as much during the COVID as Oakland County's local government investment pool was, but they were not allowed to invest in some of the same things that Oakland County was. And Oakland County kind of locked up a lot of funds. And now Oakland County is not able to offer rates that are as competitive as this. So I'm proposing that we allow these three other depositories so that some of our funds can be invested into short-term and long-term investment pools at Michigan Class and GovMIC. They have been vetted and are used by other municipalities nearby. And what's that? PFM, yes, that's GovMIC is
I
PFM.
was gonna ask,
Okay,
Yes, GovMIC is PFM.
okay.
Okay,
do these all have the bank ratings we need to be able to invest?
they do, and our auditor has, basically said they're approved.
Okay.
So, I would like to make a motion that we, there's the resolution, right?
Yeah. You can just motion,
Okay, I had it all in here.
accept the resolution.
No, it's.
You want this,
How do we do-
Teresa?
okay.
you want this?
Thank you. I tried doing all this with the laptop today and I'm just like, okay.
I can't believe I'm the one that had it.
Thank you, Bob. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution 2022-015, amending the depositories to include the three additional ones on the list. And allowing, me as the treasurer to move some monies around within the approved list of depositories.
I'll support.
Any questions or comments on that from the board? If not, just for the record, Janelle, could we have a roll call on that too?
DePalma,
Yes.
Bath,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Christopher.
Yes.
Linda,
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. We're cruising now, right? We're down to item D. Item D is discuss the fire station sale. I could have done this under the supervisor's report, but I just want to make you aware that originally I was going to try and have the fire station sale of Station 1 on today's agenda and the contract for the new one on today's agenda. And the purchaser brought in 2 contracts signed and a deposit check, but the contracts were the preliminary final draft from Will's office and didn't have the attachments. And while I know that person is comfortable with it, I think it should have everything on it. So Janelle and I made sure, Danielle and I today made sure that we sent that paper stuff over to Will. And as soon as he gets that done, I will try and arrange a special meeting sometime, hopefully still this month, to sign the deal. But you've seen there's construction work going on at the site anyway. There's guys working and clearing it out. So we're 99 and 44/100% like a bar ivory slope the way there. But I don't want to have the signed copy until all of the attachments, which are some parcel descriptions and a couple of payment schedule things that need to be put in the document, and everybody's comfortable with it on both sides. When I get that, I'll set up a meeting and I'll show I'll give you the information of the 3 bids we let out, the appraisal. I think we've probably chatted about them over the last 2 years, and also the bid on the new station. So we'll all know where we are. Okay. And I'll try and have that, if at all humanly possible, before the end of this month. So that was just to let everybody know. Moving to miscellaneous, we have reports. First one, Holly area youth.
Yeah, the only thing I have is they're still doing their collection for toys for kids, and if anybody's interested in donating, you can contact Holly Area Youth Assistance or myself, and get you the information or drop them off here and we'll see to it that they get over to them. That's all I've got.
Okay, thank you, Patty. Teresa?
Yes, with BGYA, so some of the piggybacks on Patty's, because the caseworker is shared between HIA and BGYA, so we had a board meeting last week, and as always, check the BGYA website and Facebook page for updates and events. Those are updated very frequently. This past fall, they had a Love and Logic program that averaged 18 participants per week. It's very, very positive feedback on that. Witches Night in downtown Ortonville had good fundraiser. I forgot exactly how much money. It was approximately $140, Bob. Okay. And then we had BGYA also sponsored 10 kids to go to the youth convention this past weekend, which is a life-changing event for it's a faith-based organization, or it's a faith-based event, and 10 kids were able to go that wouldn't have been able to afford it without BGYA's help. Back in October, there were 4 referrals, and in November, there were 9. But we also were told by the caseworker that Holly had 19 referrals in October. So our caseworker is quite busy, and they put out the all call. They're still looking for mentors for kids, and the countywide youth assistance breakfast is December 2nd. And I think Patty, you had indicated that you may be able to attend. Oh, Bob,
Tried
you
to
and Bob.
attend, yeah.
Wonderful.
Karen
So it's-
McDonald is.
Yeah.
speaker.
And the person who's receiving the award this year for, was it the Hope Award?
Right.
The Hope Award is a gal by the name of Chris Miller from On the Wings of a Dragonfly, or On a Dragonfly's Wings.
Yeah.
So that's she's an amazing individual. And I think that's about it. I mean,
Okay,
can never recap all of it, but that's
that's certainly the high points, eh?
sure.
Okay.
Bob wants to talk.
I'm sorry, Bob. Sure.
You can,
I just have,
you can make
and I
comments.
should have done this at the beginning during the CBD. I have some information on some of the programming that we did and how we did it. And I should have covered that earlier, but I wasn't sure what the funding was. Now that I know. Back last year, we did 300 kids at the middle school and the high school for destroying illusions. That was all CDBG funded. That was $3,000. We did a summer tutoring for high school and middle school kids, which included math, science, several different items. Again, this is all CDBG qualified students. The program is not CDBG qualified, it's the students that are qualified. We did 50 kids at soccer, baseball, and cheerleading. We did a winter swimming program for 50 kids. We did 4 kids getting them into junior Blackhawks, the football series, and again, they were CDBG qualified. We did 1 driver's training, a young lady that through the sheriff's department and the caseworker felt that would be a huge thing to provide that for this student. And again, that's $475, CDBG qualified. We did some Fuji Kids, which I can't even tell you the acronym what it stands for.
Future Generations International.
Thank you. And they did the convention that Teresa reflected on, but we did a certified baby and pet setting for a couple of kids. 2 kids were sent to boot camp through the caseworker that we funded. Again, they were CDBG Challenge Day. We will be doing this year 200 kids, and they qualify. So we did estimately about $20,000 last year in CDBG money. that went through. We did youth recognition,
Mhm.
and Teresa took on one of the worst jobs that we have. And to provide that program and to chair it. And it's one of our most difficult and intensive programs, and you should be very proud of her. She did a great job at
She
it.
did.
The first time around at it was,
Good job.
she's gonna have a hard time keeping up with that next
We had a
year.
lot of help.
But we did the senior lock-in, we did some Christmas support with toys for Fuji. We did the movie nights, we had about 150 kids. And steps and stories that Fran through the library does out at the mobile home park. Again, that wasn't funded totally by us, Eastern Stars did it, but we bought shoes and socks for 24 kids at Myers.
Oh.
And if you want an experience, take 24 kids in Myers. Shoe location. You know, they had boxes every place. It was pretty awesome, but that was about $5,000 total. We have two contracts with CDBG. One is youth contract, and we have another one that's child contract. The youth, to be considered a youth, you have to be 13 years old or older. Child is 12 and under. The contracts that we get signed by the county indicates that any child that resides in Brandon School District, doesn't make no difference if they're in Groveland, if they reside in Brandon School District
They qualify.
and their income meets the HUD requirements, they qualify for CDBG. And there's enough work that comes out of that office in order to pull it off. But in order to get all that paperwork with all these qualified kids, that's BGYA's chore. And we have a secretary and the treasurer that I sat down with and we put together. It's a big package. Basically, she gets the package with one sheet that explains all of that. But it is difficult because we end up having to find out each family's income, how many are in that family, is it a single parent, and if it's a single mother. I don't know why the county just wants to know. They're only concerned about a single mother, not a single father. But in ethnicity, we have to know if they're African American, if they have Hispanic and ethnicity. With that, we have to label all those things. So you can see where sometimes the obstruction comes when you present that to a parent and say, you know, we need you to fill this out. And sometimes that's a struggle. But as I read off all of these names, all these programs, they recognize the amount of money that we are able to support with those kinds of programs. But the CDBG is a problem, and I get it. You know, I met with our clerk over at Brandon today, and she said she was about ready to give it up. But they say that until they can get a check back, and then, you know.
Then they feel better about
everything's good,
it.
yeah. But I just wanted to throw that out there to you.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah.
You and the people you work with do a
Yeah.
great job on that stuff. I think sure everybody
Very
appreciates it.
They do all the good work.
Okay, next, Jim, anything from planning commission?
Yeah, a little bit. The majority, and I actually, I'm gonna say, I think most, really the whole thing, dealt with an overview of the draft of the zoning ordinance.
Mhm.
And, you know, there were some revisions made as we discussed. I believe we turned the document back over to the planner for,
Some tweaks.
yeah, the edits. And then I assume this balance of this month will approve the final tweaks.
That's hopefully the case, and I think you probably heard me say before, once we get done with that and Danielle and I have a conference call tomorrow with them about the overlay district for the industrial park. When we have that done, I think we're ready to be able to solicit proposals,
Okay.
pricing on it, on the service. Okay, thank you, Jim. Anything else?
Not that I can think of, no.
Okay. Gina, BZA, was there
There
anything?
is nothing for BZA, but I would like to mention that OSEP is having their annual toy store. It's open again this year. And that is where we literally set up tables with age appropriate gifts around the parish hall at St. Anne's, and the parents come and shop. They get to choose from what's on the table for their children. So there's lots of places that you can go to donate. The schools are doing that. The fire department is doing that, and then you can drop them off at St. Anne's. This year in particular, they're actually looking for volunteers to look to help set up. So that would be December 8th is the day. So it would be the 2-day. No, I'm sorry, it'd be December 8th, 9th, and 10th. So it's the 8th and the 9th are set up, and the 10th is the actual toy store on Saturday morning. So if anybody would be interested in that. And then Karen said to put a plug in for the lovely meals that the fire department does for Thanksgiving, and to ask Chief if there was anything that we should mention to the community to support that effort.
You're gonna steal my thunder.
Okay, no, okay, we'll wait. To come. That's it.
All right, for supervisor, there's just a couple of things. I already told you about the status of the sales station one and the new station. The other thing is, I think at some point in time over coffee, I've mentioned to most of you in the last months about a guy named Chief Tumbe. Okay, and today my email got filled up with letters from his office. Okay, so what I'm going to ask is tomorrow, Janelle, I know I've shared most of those with you. I think we're going to look at one of them and put a little cover on, and I will send it to the whole board just so you have a status of what's going on. Because right now my phone all day has been going back and forth with texts from Ruth and to Bob Hoffman, and Tumbe keeps on sending stuff to me, and I didn't think anything would happen to this. My first contact with him was over a year ago, and now he popped up in my office last week, and now if you read some of his correspondence, there's some implication of commitments or agreements that he seems to think were made that I don't remember ever saying. So I'll send you what he's got going out and what the straight skin he has on it, just in case you hear something, because Ruth's doing some background checking for us on it now.
Okay.
Okay, and the only other thing before I forget, if we don't see everybody, I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving this year and be safe. With that, Patty, anything you want?
Yeah, the election is over.
Hey, all right.
It went really well. I can't thank our election workers and my staff enough for the hard work, the commitment, and the great job they do. So very much appreciated. So we had a pretty good turnout, I would say. We have about 4,700 voters in our township. And we had approximately 3,182 votes cast. That includes 1,162 absent voters, 538 people at precinct 1 in the polls, 709 at precinct 2 voted in the polls, 773 at precinct 3 voted in the polls. So I'd say that's a pretty good turnout.
I did have somebody ask me today if we knew by what percentage the transit bill went down in our township, and I don't.
It was,
I
well,
don't-
the tapes are on
The
the
tapes
door,
are on the door.
but it was probably, I'm gonna estimate about 60-40.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite a few.
okay, I was just curious. That's what it was, just somebody
Could have been
asking.
70-30, but
And that wasn't against, correct?
correct,
Mhm.
Yeah,
against,
but you know, it went over overwhelmingly by about 60% or better, I think, in this county, so
yes.
Yeah.
we're getting that
We
tax
were about the
increase.
opposite of what the whole county
Yeah,
was.
we're getting that tax.
Yes. So the scanning, we had sent the
Yeah, the boxes.
the permits all out, building permits all out to be scanned. And the scanner man brought pulled 6 boxes randomly and returned them to me. And brought the downloads that we need to put them on the computers. He's done scanning. The only thing he hasn't scanned, and is the Camp Tamarack. Has that, he ran out of, we only had, put in for $25,000 to do the scanning, and he didn't go over, but he didn't have enough to do the scanning of Camp Tamarack yet. So he kept it, which is fine, because I'm hoping to, at the budget, we'll do that again, ask for some. And in the meantime, I'm gonna have he kept the other boxes. I've been in touch with another clerk on the paperwork we need to do and what the board has to vote on in order to be able to destroy those building permits and not have them brought back here. The goal was to clean out for space, and if we bring them back here, it was
Yeah,
gonna be
won't
a
save anything.
bit of a cost, and I'll be back with no space. So, and Janelle already has plans for that space. So we're all good. So we'll get those downloaded on the computers, and I'm gonna have the part-time gal maybe, and maybe Angela in some of her time, she has it, go pull those out of the boxes and check and make sure that everything that's in those folders have been scanned when they bring them up on the computers. So, and that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Patty. Anything, Teresa, you want to add?
Just a couple things. So number one, the winter tax bill this year, the winter tax bill for 2022 is going to include the 0.95 mils from the RTA tax that was just approved by the voters of Oakland County on last Tuesday. So that Oakland County just sent the forms today, and they are assessing 0.95 mils as expected. So we'll all have that on there. There's one special assessment, and that only affects sections 1, 2, 3, 10, and 11. It's up in the northeast portion of Groveland Township. It's for the Pattison drain. So all of these people who are affected, I was told that it could have been 2 years ago, but at some point they were contacted and were told that there could be some work done on the drain, and if so, they would be assessed a
That's true.
small amount.
Yeah.
So that is coming up on the
Mhm.
winter tax bill. There will be a little place at the bottom of the tax bill that says special assessments. Like I said, only 5 sections in the township are affected by this when, so it doesn't happen very often, but if there are any questions, people can call, or you can call the Oakland County Water Resource Commission. And also Bald Eagle Lake drain has been worked on recently, or will be, and I was told that we may be getting bills for that payable between December 1st and January 1st. So
And that one,
there's
a piece of it's actually the town.
a piece of that is the townships, and also with the Pattison drain, there's a piece of that that's the
Oh, is it?
townships too.
Okay.
So, I mean, they're not big amounts. I've seen the ones for the Pattison drain. They're,
The Bald Eagle one's got a bigger
the-
section. to
yes,
it,
Bald Eagle is a little bit more expensive, but that's only for selected individuals. So if you're one of the lucky ones, watch for that. And then the bills should be going out in the mail, and you should be receiving them by December 1st. If anybody's expecting a bill and doesn't get one by December 4th or 5th, give us a call here. And December Board of Review for fixing any clerical errors or poverty exemption hearings, that is December 13th, which is a Tuesday. And you can call this office or Oakland County Equalization to schedule an appointment. That's it.
Have you been given a preliminary COLA number from the county yet? You just told me
Oh,
I
the
didn't.
preliminary,
Yeah,
5% for
okay.
next year,
That's what I
yes.
Figured.
Mhm.
Is the full 9.95 on the winter tax bill? They're not
Correct.
splitting it between the two.
No, the full 0.95 is on the winter tax bill.
Just jump right into
They sure did.
without a
Just
plan.
jumped right in.
Okay, well, with that, I guess there are no other items on the agenda. I'm open the meeting to public comment. If anybody has any questions or comments before we adjourn for the fire meeting. Seeing a rousing round of questions down there. Okay, I'll make a motion that we adjourn and reconvene for the fire board meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any questions or comments from the board? Any from the audience? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's approved. Kevin, we're reconvened for your fire board meeting. We got your package here.
You can see we had 90 calls last month. Pretty close to what we had last year. We had 115 last year. That brought our total to 796 for this month. Currently, we're averaging 3 calls a day for November. So that'll bring us up pretty close to $1,000 for the year, I think. I'd like to recommend hiring a Randall Ives. He's a firefighter paramedic instructor coordinator. As a fill-in firefighter medic, he was recommended by Jacob Jones, who was one of the recent hire. He currently works for MMR and is looking for working part-time and gets more fire experience. And he's working at another fire organization, and it was just too far to drive for him, so he kind of wants to switch from there to here. I talked to him yesterday, and he's a little bit concerned about the distance because he lives up, I think, in Saginaw. But I said, well, let's try it out. And we can always look using some pneumatics, obviously.
And arrange some shift schedule for them so it works.
So I'd like to recommend we make a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion. We hire Randall Ives for the fire department as part-time fill in. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board? If not, take a roll call if you would. Thank you, Jeanette.
Jack,
Yes.
Bills,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Majority,
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes. Okay, chief.
You got another one, Andrew Abbott. He's a young gentleman who lives in Grand Blanc currently. He was recommended by Derek Stamper to us. He wants to join the fire department. He doesn't have any training. I have not spoken to him. We've been playing phone tag. Jeff Verdes has talked to him though. And we told him since he didn't live in the township, we weren't going to pay for his schooling. He said he's willing to pay for his schooling. We always look for some new guys, some
He's pretty close.
pretty close. I don't know exactly where it is in Grand Blanc.
Can't be that far.
So I'd like to recommend that we make a motion to hire Andrew Abbott as a firefighter training.
I will, oh my goodness, make a motion to hire Andrew Abbott as a firefighter trainee.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board? Not. If you would take a roll call, Jeanette.
Bills,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Majority,
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, for the Halloween party,
I heard you guys did a bang up job on that, man.
I heard that too. I was there in the early parts, but then I was sick, so I went home, but we estimated we had about 200 visitors.
Very nice.
Nice.
Very nice what you guys did.
We bought 8 bags of candy and there was none.
No,
Usually we're eating candy for the next 4 weeks.
yeah,
So next year I get 10 bags of candy.
you did a real nice job from what I heard. I didn't realize that I had to stop by just to see it, but I heard all good things about it.
A lot of that stuff is Tammy Pace's stuff. We have
Uh-huh.
10-foot tall
Yes.
skeletons and smoke generators, and I mean, goes in line to Station 2 because we think it's haunted anyway.
It was wonderful. I took my littles up there. They couldn't.
Excuse me.
So that was, we've heard a lot of good things about that. Thanksgiving Day meals, we're gonna do it again this year. Currently, we have about 30 people that have shown interest in it. We're expecting about 50. We purchased some of the things we use that. We use the association money for that. Well, I think last year we had 7 turkeys that we ended up with, but so, and then I've had several questions about donations,
Yes.
things like that. So if anyone wants to donate, either food or, money towards it, that more than willing to take it. It's obviously it's a 501c, and I think we help quite a few people.
That's a very nice thing you do on there also.
And some people have asked, what do we do to break them, like basket of food. No, we actually cook the meals and bring it to them. And last year we ended up with some other donations from Springfield. They gave us a lot of extra packaged food, and so we divvied that up to the people that we give it out to.
Oh, that was nice.
So that's what's coming up here. It's pretty good.
Great job, nice community effort too.
And we usually have a pretty good turnout there for people who come in and help cook them. We put in for a grant for smoke detectors and CO detectors that we get approved. We got some of them. Currently, we have about 25 smoke detectors left and 15 CO detectors. So if you know someone that needs them, we're happy to bring them out to them. They're, I think they're battery operated ones, so you don't have to, hardwire them in. Obviously, if it's new construction, you're supposed to be hardwired in, but we haven't had these, and I don't know. Last time we got them like 15 years ago, so obviously we'll keep what we can get more if we need more, but that was what we got for the initial issue. So if you know of anybody, let me know. 47 should be ready on Wednesday. If you didn't hear, the transmission burned up. So,
And
quite
apparently the
expensive.
batteries and some other.
Yeah, they recommended front brakes, 2 new batteries, and a rebuilt transmission. It's got forget how long the warranty is on it, but it's down at Bowman Chevrolet right now. But that was unexpected, obviously, and that's Station 2's primary truck. So we've been using 44 at Station 2, and today it went down for rear brakes. So we have it out at the Ford dealer in Nortonville right now, and they said they can get on working on it tomorrow. So we were down to 1 ambulance, so we borrowed an ambulance from Springfield. So
Oh,
we have Springfield's ambulance there. Obviously, when we get one of those 2 trucks back, we'll obviously clean up Springfield's truck and fill it up.
It was
and
good that
everything else.
they
And we got our
weren't going.
equipment on their truck, supplement.
They have some spare trucks that they keep too, so that was their
Well,
spare truck
we're all
they gave you.
required to keep at least a spare.
So they just let you keep use theirs.
And
Okay,
it's primarily because, like Jeff Burdess and Jacob Jones works down there.
yeah, that's a good deal.
They're
Good
able
deal. Glad to see it.
rent it up here. And as far as in the local area, we've been doing mutual aiding, not only giving mutual aid, we've been receiving mutual aid a lot lately. So it's been, I think on last Thursday, it was 3 mutual aids to Brandon for the car accident, then medical, and then station coverage. Same with Springfield. We have a lift assist down there the other day. So we're all short on people right now. And so more people we have in the area, the better. Rotten Manor went pretty well. Didn't have any issues there. And I guess that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Any updates on ambulances that are
We
ordered?
did, in the remount truck,
Mhm.
I got it secondhand and I screwed it up was we were waiting on a Ford chassis to show up and they called and said they can't get a Ford chassis. Remind the General Motors chassis, it's I think about
8,000, yeah.
more, but they were going to need that. So we can get the truck. And they're gonna pick up Alpha 1, I think that they said in January, so we're gonna basically another year to get that one, and I have not got an update on the new. But they haven't asked for a deposit or anything on the new
I
truck.
mean, we got them both on order. It's just whatever it is right now. I'm guessing like GM cars, it won't have heated seats.
Yeah.
Chip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I brought it up, I wasn't, obviously, but we had the pump test done on all the trucks and everything passed, basically all look good. We had engine 1 and engine 2, the packings need to be redone, they leak quite
On the pumps.
on the pumps, they leak quite a bit, so that's something we're gonna. Sometimes you can tighten those up, but on the E1s, they're a little bit.
Are they like a rope seal on an outboard boat?
But we've tightened them up so much, I think
Right.
we're tighten them to the point that you can't tighten them anymore, so now we gotta get them repacked, so. We're kind of trying to hold off as long as we can, just because,
I don't know if they're like inboard boats, but in that ski boat that Brad bought, they all have this kind of a rope seal where the shaft goes through the hull. And they say they all leak a little bit. They're supposed to, but they all leak a lot more. Okay. But he found something that they make, I forget what it is. It's a different kind of material that's like significantly better than whatever they all been using for years. I don't know if they make it for fire trucks, maybe not.
We've been ending up, basically, we fill up engine one. We top off engine one every couple of days. Water, it takes right now 100 gallons or so, but
Wow.
it's quite a bit. One works.
So the bottom's clean, huh?
Bottom's clean, but the floor.
Okay. Well, thank you, chief. Oh, I just curious, did we ever find out that they ever come by and do another ISO rating? Like they said they were in a few months ago?
We have not heard any more.
Okay, I was just curious.
I think that was just a bad room.
Okay. Well, thank you. If there's nothing else, anybody have any questions? If not, I make a motion, we adjourn for tonight.
I'll second that.
Any questions or comments from the board? Any from the audience? Public comment? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Okay.
Oh.
So Ruth's sending me stuff. That's what I was looking at.
Well, shouldn't they still?
Well, she thinks that some investigation she's done, it's Xanadu's actually.